A perfect crime, no evidence, no witnesses, no trace left behind. It's the dream of every master thief. The notion that they could steal millions, disappear forever and never face justice. Most criminals slip up eventually. They leave fingerprints or make a rash decision. They get greedy or they trust the wrong person. But in the heists we're exploring today, the culprits came so close to pulling off the impossible that authorities were left stunned for years. In some cases, a single overlooked clue was all it took to unravel their masterpiece. In others, the criminals were so meticulous that a twist of fate or sheer coincidence led to their downfall. Stay with me until the end, because one of these heists was so ingeniously planned that it took investigators decades just to piece together how it happened. And if you love true crime, subscribe now so you don't miss next Saturday's episode, where we explore the most mysterious disappearances in history, cases that still have no explanation. In 2003, Antwerp, Belgium, home to the world's most secure diamond district, became the scene of one of history's most audacious robberies. The vault at the Antwerp Diamond Centre boasted 10 layers of cutting-edge security, including infrared sensors, seismic detectors, advanced locks, and even a magnetic field designed to detect any metal intrusion. Industry insiders believed it was impenetrable. Yet, in the early hours of a February weekend, thieves somehow bypassed every single precaution. Their leader was allegedly Leonardo Notarbartolo, an Italian thief who'd spent years posing as a legitimate diamond merchant. He rented an office in the same building, carefully observed the guards' routines, and conducted multiple test runs to ensure that each layer of security could be quietly disabled. His team's plan was as complex as it was meticulous. They used homemade shields to block infrared sensors, crafted duplicate keys for restricted areas, and manipulated light beams to avoid triggering alarms. Inside the vault, they looted over $100 million worth of diamonds, gold, and other jewels. By the time anyone noticed, they were long gone. For weeks, police had no leads, no footprints, no camera footage. Nothing. But Notarbartolo made one critical mistake. He carelessly dumped a bag of incriminating evidence in a wooded area. A random passerby discovered torn money wrappers and security tapes linking Notarbartolo to the heist. Though he was arrested, the vast majority of the diamonds were never recovered, and it remains one of the most successful and sophisticated robberies in history. In August 1963, 15 men, led by Bruce Reynolds, pulled off what was at the time the largest robbery in British history, the Great Train Robbery. The target was a Royal Mail train transporting millions of pounds in used banknotes. The gang devised an intricate plan which involved tampering with track signals to force the train to stop at an isolated point in Buckinghamshire. Once the train halted, the robbers overpowered the driver and postal workers, loading 120 bags of cash, worth around £2.6 million back then, or over $60 million today, into waiting vehicles. Despite the scale of the heist, not a single gunshot was fired. The entire operation lasted barely half an hour, and the robbers vanished into the night without leaving any obvious trail. For a moment it seemed they might actually get away, but their downfall stemmed from overconfidence. They hid at Leatherslade Farm, believing it was safe to lie low for several days while the police were scouring the countryside. Instead of quietly dispersing, the gang stayed together, leaving behind fingerprints on everyday objects like dishes and famously a Monopoly board they'd used to celebrate. These overlooked clues helped police track them down. In the following months, authorities captured most of the robbers, though some, like Ronnie Biggs, escaped custody and became international fugitives. The Great Train Robbery remains a testament to how even a meticulously planned heist can unravel due to small human errors and a hint of arrogance. In 2005, Brazil witnessed a burglary so unbelievable, it felt like something out of a Hollywood film. The Banco Central in Fortaleza was considered robustly secure, holding millions in local currency. Yet over a quiet weekend, robbers managed to steal over 160 million reais, worth more than $70 million at the time, without tripping a single alarm. Their secret? A 260-foot underground tunnel stretching from a rented house to the bank's vault. The house had been set up as a fake landscaping business, complete with signs, client bookings, and even employees to avoid suspicion. Over a span of 3 months, the gang excavated tons of soil, installing supports, electric lighting, and even air conditioners inside the tunnel to prevent collapse. When Monday arrived, bank officials discovered an empty vault. Investigators could hardly believe how extensive and professional the tunnel was. It even curved around underground cables and water pipes. The gang left minimal evidence, but eventually they drew attention to themselves by spending huge sums of cash too quickly. Police arrested dozens of suspects over several years, yet most of the stolen money was never recovered. The Banco Central burglary remains one of the greatest feats of criminal engineering in modern times. It demonstrated that determination, patience, and careful planning can defeat even advanced security systems, unless a criminal crew becomes too bold after the heist. Heists aren't always about stealing money. Sometimes they're about stealing back personal freedom. Few prison breaks have captivated the world like the 2015 escape of Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, one of Mexico's most notorious drug lords. Guzman was confined in the supposedly impregnable Altiplano maximum security prison, surrounded by armed guards and cutting-edge surveillance. Yet, on July 11, 2015, El Chapo vanished from his cell. Authorities found a mile-long tunnel leading from beneath his shower area to a vacant construction site outside the prison. The tunnel was impeccably engineered: ventilation, lighting, tracks for a modified motorcycle that transported dirt, and a GPS-based system to ensure they dug in the right direction. Contractors had quietly removed and disposed of tons of soil without attracting attention. It was an international embarrassment. How could a high-profile criminal under constant video surveillance slip away so cleanly? Investigations revealed that corrupt officials likely played a role, whether through turning a blind eye or actively assisting the operation. International manhunts ensued, but it took months to recapture El Chapo, who was found hiding in Sinaloa. Though El Chapo eventually ended up extradited to the United States, this breakout displayed the lengths to which criminal organizations will go to free their leaders, and how even the world's strictest prisons are vulnerable to a well-financed and expertly executed plan. These criminals came dangerously close to the perfect crime, orchestrating elaborate plans that stunned law enforcement across the globe. A single discarded receipt, a piece of evidence left in the woods, a rapid wave of spending that raised eyebrows. Tiny oversights led to their eventual capture. But is there a heist out there we still don't know about? One so perfectly planned and flawlessly executed that the culprits vanished without leaving any clue behind? Which of these heists do you think was the most ingenious? Tell us in the comments. If you enjoyed this deep dive, subscribe now so you don't miss next Saturday's episode, where we explore the most mysterious disappearances in history that have never been solved. And always remember, no security system is truly unbreakable, only the criminals who haven't tried yet. Thank you for watching. See you in the next investigation.